To the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. There's nothing the Chiefs can do. There will be no repeat. Bucks win the Super Bowl. Tom Brady, you are the man. You are the GOAT, the greatest of all time.
Tom Brady quick to declare that his Bucks will be back trying to make a run at another Lombardi. But, guys, you know how it is. It's hard to keep a Super Bowl team back together. Obviously, a lot of free agents, but two of them I want to focus on. Huge names. Rob Gronkowski, Antonio Brown. Stephen A., who would you prioritize if you can't keep everybody?
Believe it or not, it would be Antonio Brown, as crazy as that sounds. And the reason I feel that way is because I think that, number one, Gronk is your boy, and you can get him to alter his demands, whatever those demands may be. Number two, retirement is obviously a part of his plans because he had to get talked out of retirement. In the case of Antonio Brown, and you're talking about a guy highly motivated to resurrect his career and to get himself back in the upper echelon. And his skills are no problem whatsoever. The brother is a star. And we keep forgetting, and I think we've lost track, we've lost sight of how electrifying Antonio Brown can be. Chris Godwin is special. I got it. He's only 24 years of age, and obviously they're going to do what they can to prioritize him or Shaq Barrett. We get all of that. But when you look at Antonio Brown, who's approaching 32 years of age, if I remember correctly, in July, think about the 6 consecutive years of 1,000-plus yards receiving. Think about how electrifying it was. Think about what we mentioned him in the same breath as. We mentioned him as Julio Jones, DeAndre Hopkins, Odell Beckham Jr., and cats like that. Antonio Brown was a sensational receiver, and his knuckleheaded tendencies kept him out of the game of football, not injuries. So he didn't expose himself health-wise to a lot of damage over the last couple of years because he hadn't played that much because he was acting like a head case off the field. Now, obviously, that's never been a problem with him with Tom Brady, which is why Tom Brady insisted that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers bring him on board. When he needed a bonus, Tom Brady kept throwing him the football, threw him like 10 or 11 passes that game, Max, so he could get his bonus. I mean, if there's one guy that this guy would play for, and you're talking about having one guy for one more season, I'm certainly not saying him and nobody else because Gronk obviously is pivotal. Tom Brady's best friend on and off the field practically and all this other stuff. We get all of that. But Antonio Brown and what he's capable of doing on that football field. I mean, when Antonio Brown is balling, I mean, he's better than Mike Evans. He's better than Chris Godwin. He's better than those guys, at least at this particular point. I can't ignore that upside and what that could mean if he got a full season under his belt, Max. He comes in there not in the middle of the season and plays just 8 games, even though he ends up having the same amount of receptions, 45, as Rob Gronkowski did. Okay? I'm thinking about from day one you got Antonio Brown in there playing with Tom Brady. Lord have mercy. It could be special.
I don't think it sounds crazy at all. In fact, I think on the surface, you would say absolutely Antonio Brown, because you're absolutely right. Even with all those great receivers on the team, if AB is right, it's not close. It's not close. And how about this? I don't care how good Godwin ever gets. He is unlikely to ever be close to as good as Antonio Brown at his best. And here's the scary thing. Who's to say AB is not his best anymore? Maybe he is. You just get back into football shape from the very beginning of the season, in practice, in sync with everybody, and maybe he's still in his prime, which is, by the way, comparable to the prime of anyone. You want to talk about Megatron or Randy Moss or Jerry Rice? Antonio Brown's prime fits right in there with the elite of the elite who ever lived. But if the question is, who should Tom Brady lobby to re-sign, meaning a longer-term deal, then I would actually say Gronk, who's cooked compared to Antonio Brown in terms of, how he looks talent-wise versus his prime. I mean, Gronk is still an effective player, and we saw that in the Super Bowl. But Gronk is not nearly as close to his best as Antonio Brown is potentially to his. So why am I saying Gronk? And it's not just about the relationship Brady has with Gronk and all they've been through in New England and now in Tampa. Stephen A., I don't think AB has shown that he can be trusted on a long-term deal. Yes, and I think the Bucs can probably bring everybody or just about everybody back, so I don't really think this is an either-or. But if you're talking about who do you hand out an extension to, a contract to, can you trust Gronk to give it all, his all on the field, to not be a disruptive force? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. He has a career where he shows you that. By the way, hasn't always been an angel on the field. He's had plays on the field where, well, that was a dirty play. He's partied and stuff off the field in a way that has drawn attention, right? But he hasn't really been a distraction to a team. Whereas AB, we've seen, I would keep AB, yes, but on one-year deals. You know, you bring him back so that he doesn't feel like he has the security where he doesn't have to work for it anymore. Because as we've seen with AB, Stephen A., he has a pattern throughout his career of blowing things up. He's in a really great situation with Brady. He's been fine so far in terms of that stuff, but I would not give him the security which could be enabling for his lesser impulses. I would keep it year to year with AB. Gronk, you can trust. Sign him up.
Well, let me say this. Be careful about what you're saying here about AB. His work ethic has never been an issue, ever. I mean, he doesn't get comfortable. I'm saying he's not somebody that gets the money and gets comfortable and as a result doesn't work. They never said that about him.
No,
so
let me be very clear. It's off the field I'm talking about.
Okay, well, off the field, off season, obviously that's something to be concerned about. But if there's one person, think about it. What player do you know on the offensive side of the ball has ever had any issues playing with Tom Brady? I mean, obviously, Aaron Hernandez, I mean, we all know what that situation ultimately regressed into. We get that part. That's a special circumstance. But outside of that, what have we seen? Antonio Brown has been a model citizen playing with Tom Brady. He hasn't caused any trouble playing with Tom Brady. He caused trouble after he was departed and pushed out of New England. But while he was there, I mean, he was just trying to play ball. He comes to Tampa, plays ball. Tom Brady seems to have that kind of effect on people, and we can't ignore that. So, again, I don't disagree with your one-year stuff. I totally understand that. But it's not because I don't trust Antonio Brown with Tom Brady. It's because I don't expect Tom Brady to be playing football after next year. I think next year may very well be his last.
Well, look, first of all, Antonio Brown's work ethic is legend. You know, that's why he's not the fastest or the most talented we've ever seen or the biggest, obviously, but his work ethic is legend. It's why he is one of the very greatest who ever lived at his best. I would never question that. I'm talking about the off-the-field stuff. And as I recall, Stephen A., this is off the top of my head now, and so much stuff has happened since then. But on his way into New England, he was still texting women with whom there were ongoing allegations and problems, and texting them things that you would say, what kind of a judgment is this? Even if you think you're being set up in some way, like giving him the benefit of the doubt on the facts, right? Why would you text that? But then, given what was texted back and forth, who says you give him the benefit of the doubt, even, right? So, and that was going on while he was in New England. And it looked like his career was saved by that.
Remember, he was sat down for the week, and it was speculation that he would be gone, and that's when he was doing that. I'm talking about when he's been on the field, he hasn't been any problem with Brady. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, but I'm saying, wait, with New England, there were still problems that got him booted. But okay, fine, I have to go back and refresh my memory about the timeline. My point is simply this. I'm not talking about on the field. I'm talking about off the field, locker room, all that stuff. AB has been so sabotaging of himself at times. You brought it up. Keep your mouth closed till when? And you got $20 million, and he couldn't do it, right?
So
million. given his 20, what were the circumstances? Because
$29 million. If he had shut up